Oh yeah, welcome back. I always get excited when this turns on. So, we have Angela today with Window Chats with Robyn. You may notice I don't have my blue background. I was excited because I got to wear a blue t-shirt today, but the lighting is not in my favor. So, is it really that exciting? Can you even tell my shirt is blue? I don't know. For me, I know it's blue. Makes me kind of happy. All I own is blue. I should look into that. I'm just going to ramble until I see Angela's face pop on. This is really the worst part of the chat for me, personally. Groundhog Day was yesterday. That was a thing. Apparently spring is coming early, unless I did not watch the news correctly. I would like the job of being a groundhog. I do wonder, do they get paid? Are they treated well for like the one time a year when they're needed? I'm not sure. Things that we could ask Angela. I'm not sure if she would know this either. Anywho's, let's try and invite Angela, as I don't feel like ranting anymore about random thoughts that I have. And, oh, I see her. And then we do that. And then we send her. But it's not going to work the first time, as I've learned. Get down. Oh my God, it worked! This is the first time it's worked right away.
Yes! Lucky charm! Look at that!
That's amazing. I was literally just ranting. I'm like, it's not going to work the first time. We'll do it a couple times.
It worked. I'm here. This is really happening.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, I'm pretty good for like is it a Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday. I know.
I think it's Wednesday. So I'm pretty good. Cannot complain. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was saying before, the sun is not in my favor. So I moved to like my white wall, like the opposite part. So I could finally wear a blue shirt. But you can't tell it's blue because the light is just not working. It's too sunny. For me.
No, you're too harsh on yourself. I honestly, like, your lighting looks perfect.
Oh.
It really does. No, it looks great. I struggle with the same thing though, because so I'm in the bedroom right now because we face directly at the lake, and same thing. We had sun coming directly in, and I knew that, like, iPhone or not, I'd be completely like, you know.
It's like I love this. Yeah, I love the sun, but not when I'm filming or doing these things. Where
it's like a natural ring light, but like not.
But not good.
Controllable.
I know, like to harness the light and somehow not need the extra light. That's okay. We're gonna invent this.
Harness the light. Yeah. No, I love that. No, that's good though. You got like the right angle. You have like, I'd say half your face in like a lovely luminescent glow, and then like the other half of your face is like perfectly like.
That's why I love talking to you. You make me feel so good.
It's good.
I'm loving the red shirt, by the way. It's a very nice color.
Oh, thank you. This is actually a gift from photographer Helen Tansey. So thank you.
Oh, Helen, nice.
Yeah, she's a rock star. So it's nice and bright, and like, I don't know about you, but like my wardrobe is often really tends to be on the dark side. I think we know this because we've seen each other at auditions often. Like,
it's not. It has to be because I can't wear. All I own is blue shirts, and then nothing else pairs with my blue background. So I'm like, I guess I'm wearing black all the time. Like, that is just.
That's so true, though, isn't it? Like the fact that we have like the standard self-tape blue background, finding wardrobe that that matches well with that background is actually a very real struggle.
That's why you're wearing that red. I tried to wear a red top with my blue background. It was an eyesore and a half. It was so bad. And I was just confidently like, yes, this is working.
Own it. Just own it. I know.
And then you watch it, you're like, I don't know where to look.
I know. And self-tapes have become like the primary form of auditioning right now. So figuring out that setup is so important. Yeah, it's a constant struggle. I know. So how have you been? How are you?
Honestly, every day is different. I think what's helpful for these chats for me is I know today is Wednesday because I have a chat. Otherwise, I've lost all concept of time.
It's so true. Structure's so important right now. Yeah. I know. And it's weird too because it's been going so long to start with. Yeah. Like it's been, like 11 months or whatever. And we've had these rolling lockdowns. So as constricted as things felt like during the summer, where, there was still certain regulations and certain distancing rules and all that, and the masks and everything. Now it's like really shut down. Like, it's crazy.
I don't know. I'm laughing. I'm just like, yeah, it is. There's nothing I can do.
Well,
it's not funny.
At some point you can either laugh or cry, and it's better to laugh. I know. Have you been, by chance, sort of walking in the downtown core lately?
I mean,
we try and do our daily walk. I always joke that like I'm a dog and I have to be walked once a day because I need to go out. We don't have a balcony, so I need a little bit of like fresh,
to get the air, fresh air. Yeah,
fresh.
yeah.
So we try, but it's so cold. I'm like
it is
bundled up.
particularly cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It is really, really, really particularly cold
Hey,
right now. I
Jenny.
think we're in a polar vortex.
Yeah,
that's passing through.
That sounds very scary. Anything with vortex attached to it. I also thought of like a roller coaster called Vortex, and that was a scary ride. Just the word vortex is very daunting to me. I don't enjoy it. So when they said polar vortex, I said, I'm not leaving.
It's really, it's deceptive because when you check the weather and it says like -4 or -5, you have a certain expectation of how crappy that's going to feel. And then you go out there and the real feel is like 10 degrees, even colder than that.
Feels like -30. Okay.
I know. Well, we dropped off some food for my grandma last week. We did like a little grocery run and just like made her some homemade pierogies and dropped them by. And it was crazy because we didn't go inside, obviously, but we met her outside for the drop off, and it was so cold. Like, it's so true what you're saying. Like, you have to be really careful right now. So
I feel like when you're older, you feel it more too.
Yeah. I think so. And I have a huge respect, I find, for the older people in my life. I find they're some of the bravest in terms of this whole thing. Like, they just get on with their life. They keep up their patterns, and they,
Well, I mean, I would think, I know the older generation, I'm like, I know what we're going through is very hard. But I think some people have gone through wars. So I don't know how they equate, but I just think like we stay indoors if we can. Like, for most part, I mean, I can. It's like, okay, we can get things delivered and we still have access to media. We know what's going on. We're a little more informed than back then with a war. No one knows what's happening. Where's my family member? I don't know. That kind of scariness, which is messing with my head. I'm getting really, like, I'm getting it. I'm a deep thinker now, apparently. I don't know.
Well, I think we have time to have deep thoughts. That's the thing. Where normally we had all these activities that would have us so busy and hectic and running around.
Yeah.
Now we're just kind of stuck with our thoughts all the time. So we can have those really introspective, deep, unanswerable questions going through our brain.
Yeah, that's the worst. I'm like, well, what's the answer? I don't know. I guess I'll think about this tomorrow. Just going to ponder.
I saw that you've been doing some really fun stuff on TikTok, though. Like, you've been finding creative ways. You've been finding creative stuff.
I have. This is like a great story. I think I was born with the mindset of a 60-year-old. Like, I am just an old person stuck in my ways. So when someone introduces a new piece of technology, I automatically say, no way, no thank you. And then I wait till it's not cool anymore, and then I join. So I waited till everyone was on TikTok, and they're like, no one cares, Robyn. You should have been on it ages ago. I don't know what I'm doing.
The TikTok waves. It's so, my mom actually got me introduced to TikTok.
That's awesome.
She's an early adopter. She always has been. And I want to say she introduced me to it. Oh gosh. I want to say back in December. Like,
you were doing cool stuff. You were timing music and things for videos. I don't know.
I want to say, like, it was like, it's been around for a while. Like, I'm talking, I get confused with the years. What year are we in? We're in 2021. But yeah, I remember she introduced it to me, like, back, I want to say in like December 2019. Like, she was like early. And it's funny because, as you say, people have been joining TikTok in waves. Because I think initially, you see little like, samples of what people share on different social media platforms. Like, you'll see a TikTok video posted on Facebook, or you'll see it posted on Twitter, and some of it may appeal to you, some of it may not. But I don't know, what do you find with TikTok? I find it makes me smile, which is needed right now. I think
it's so funny. It's true though. And I find, again, our attention spans are getting so much shorter. So I was creating these 2-minute sketches and no one was watching it. So it's kind of made me challenged my brain. How can I get the same point across in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting as a comedian. I'm like, okay, what's funny about this? Just get to the point, because no one wants to see the buildup.
It's also bizarre. Like, when it's funny you say that. Like, it's a strange platform in that you can create content, as you say, for a while, and you won't get much traction with it. And then suddenly, like, this happened to me with my TikTok. I was having, like, I was just throwing stuff out there because it was amusing me, quite frankly. It was giving me something to do. And one day I was watching Titanic just because I do, and why not, obviously. And so I was watching Titanic, and we hit the scene, you know, I mean, of course you know the scene. You know the scene where he's
No, I don't know what scene you're referring to.
Oh my God, what?
I'm joking.
What's the line? Hold on, what is it?
Isn't
right. Draw me like one of your French girls. That's what it is. Right? Okay, so the scene, and I'm on TikTok, and I put on the filter. You know, the silly filter that like make your face do all kinds of weird stuff. I created a video on TikTok of like me filming Titanic on my screen. I'll send you a link to that.
I have to watch it. Okay.
Girl, it's had like, I want to say 2 million views.
Whoa!
Yeah, I swear to God. And I've never made anything since that has been anything remotely that successful. But my point is like, it's sometimes the most unexpected things that in a moment you wouldn't think is, you find it amusing, a little amusing, and you post it and it just hits a nerve. So all I'm saying is just keep doing you, because like at the end of the day, you know, you'll like, it's just a bizarre tool. So you just got to keep trying and putting it out there.
It's not even, I post it now because you know what, I'm like, this is funny in my head. We'll see. But yeah. I don't know. Sometimes people share the ones I'm proudest of, no one cares about. Oh no, you have the circle on your face.
I know you have a circle on your face too. Oh, you're back.
Oh God. Ah, okay.
You're back.
I don't know.
I was just like nodding and listening. It became a phone call for a brief second. But I heard you though. Yeah, no, continue. Go ahead.
Like, it's honestly the least effort I make. Those are the ones that resonate with people the most. And I find that fascinating. So but the problem is I can't not put effort in because I always want to try. But there was one, I was squeezing a donut that's got the most views. It was like a donut and the icing was coming out and it just looked really weird. And I'm like,
that is a weird place, man. It was weird place.
I'm like, it looks very inappropriate. You're serving this to children. But I mean, it was delicious in their defense, but it was just things, I guess that's what people want to see. I find anything with my face, no one watches. Any other random things I do, everyone watches.
Well, I mean, that's kind of true with mine too, right? Like,
so
I think
entertaining.
You just I was going to say, just keep doing you. Just keep staying true to what you find funny. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, TikTok's one of those tools that you never know what's going to hit a nerve. So,
yeah,
you know, I think it's crazy though that TikTok has had this like renaissance, this crazy birth, you know, during this time, because people have so much time to
and it's also so easy to skim through. It's not as though you're watching one video for 10 minutes on YouTube or something. This is just, you could watch hundreds of people in a matter of minutes, which is fascinating. Yeah. It's like, I never
pushes things to you that you like too. It's a social media tool of like the 21st century. It's very modern.
But we're on it and we're cool. So
I think I'm relatively cool. I would say so. I try to be cool.
You are very cool. Okay.
Thank you. You're cool too.
No, every time, like, okay, she's horseback riding. Now she's on point. You are fascinating. And I'm like, I have to talk to you because we did that gun course together. And I'm like, okay, this girl's cool. We both want to take pictures and document stuff. And I love it because that's just how I remember things. I'm like, yes, I did this. There was a picture of me holding a gun. I totally shot this. And you were into it because other people are like, do you need to document your life? I'm like, this is for me. I love my pictures. And you were into it. And I'm like, this girl will be my friend. But then I stalk you and I see you're just like doing points.
Too.
It's fun. Like, it's fellow stalks. But you're just doing so many things. I'm like, okay, I don't even know there is a way to horseback in Toronto at all. I mean, I'm assuming you go yonder, but I need to understand your life. Yes, yonder, past the meadow.
I go yonder. I'm one of those people that I want to do a lot of things. I've always wanted to do a lot of things. And when I was really, really young, I wanted to do ballet. I started ballet, or I should say like creative dance more rather, when I was like 3. So I've been doing that for a long time. But horse riding sort of came later when I got into like period films, to be honest. And not me like actually acting period films. I used to love watching period films. And since then, I just always wanted to do it. Like, I always wanted to get on a horse and try. But I don't know, I think in our field, and just any skill, because so much of what we bring when we're on set is, you know, our instrument or our self, and all the different experiences and abilities and knowledge, whatever else. I just try as best I can and I love it. It's rich. It's enriching to do it, to just try as many of those things that I want to do if I'm able to do them, right? And so like this time was a bit of it was horrible in the sense that it's been uncertain and it's been scary and it's been all of the challenges associated with it. But but it has given time to do those other things, those other activities. So I have been horse riding. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Like, yeah, but my activity is maybe learning to get better at yoga. You're just like, yeah, I'm riding a horse. So.
Oh, girl, you're a comedian. That is one of the most ballsy badass fields that I think anyone can go into, which I have huge respect for, because it takes so much guts to be able to like put together any comedy routine, because it's so personal. Like you take so much of your personal life and then you phrase it in different ways to get a laugh, and that's vulnerable. That is so vulnerable.
Well, now I never thought of that, and now I'm terrified of doing comedy in the future. Thank you. It's almost, with comedy, it's like, even with acting, I'm like, you know what? I kind of reframed what failure is. So I'm like, this is not failure. This is funny. And I'm trying to share it. Maybe someone else will find it funny. And I think if I don't actually overthink the comedy and realize people might think you're ridiculous and people might just not understand what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, if I don't think about that, I'm just like, here you go. This made me laugh. But then when I think about it and I'm like, do I delete this? I have done that. I'm like, nope, I don't know why I shared that. Delete. Oh God. Someone saw it. Oh no, run away.
That's a whole level of anxiety, actually. I completely relate to that. Like when you post something out there and then you suddenly realize, oh my God, is that like, we are our social feed? Is that me? Is that me? I don't know. It's so true though, of like, I think I've gone through a bit of a growth process during this time as well, which is that at the beginning of it, the majority of the social interactions that we had were online, right? Because essentially our world got conduced to Zoom calls, to social media posts, to whatever else. And suddenly all these interactions online had so much more weight than they would have necessarily in the real world, because, we weren't going out as much or whatever else. Yeah, that's true. That's a whole level of anxiety. It's so important. But I think we have to find a way to just kind of say, I mean, some of the people I admire most, especially on social platforms, certain actors as well, they just live their truth. And if they put something out there that doesn't resonate, at the end of the day, as long as it's true to who you are, screw it.
I think what I admire the most, and I'm not sure if you do this, I feel like you do, because there are days when I'm just, okay, I need to be away from my phone and technology and people, except, I live with my husband, so like I go in my corner. But I find like when there are those days, I just kind of shy away. But there are people, and I feel like you might have done this at one point, and they just share their experience. Like, you know what, I'm feeling a little down today, and it's okay to feel down. And I admire that so much, because I'm just kind of like, I need to not talk about this. And other people that are vocal are kind of reaching out and letting other people know it's okay. And I don't know how they do it, because that's a whole other level of openness that I am not able to achieve. But it's so helpful, right? To people that are struggling and thinking that, oh, everyone's doing better than me. But really, we all have good and bad days.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And even, pre-pandemic, this was still an issue, which is that people would look at, say, an Instagram feed, and they'd say, because everyone is, only posting their good stuff, that we'd assume that everyone is just having a merry old time, that everyone's, whatever it is for actors, everyone's booking gigs, or in the case of when people travel, everyone's traveling, and maybe you aren't traveling. And it psychologically, it takes a really strong hit over time. Mm-hmm. And that's made even worse by the pandemic, where we're just stuck at home. And so when we see people posting positive things and we're feeling down, which, and maybe correct me, maybe it's not the case, but I think we've all had, I mean, it's virtually impossible, virtually inhuman to not have a lot of downs during this time, simply because the world is going through this horrendous experience altogether. I think everyone has to go through it their own way. And people that do share what you're going through and feel like you're not alone. So that's helpful. But people that need to take their own time and take a step away, because I've done that too.
Yeah.
It's as healthy as the other option. And I think finding whatever makes you healthy right now is the most important thing right now. Mm-hmm. Like whatever that looks like, you know, as long as it's not like, you know, narcotics or whatever. But for the most part, as long as it's a healthy tool, I would say, you know, go do it, because Lord knows anything that can make you happy right now is so important. Mm-hmm. Especially in our field, because acting, I can't speak for you, got to tell me how things are going, but like I find it's super quiet. Like it's been really, really quiet, more quiet than I've ever had before. And it's a whole level of, you know, figuring it out. What am I going to do? How am I going to, like, I've been trying to use it to grow. Yeah. Like I've been taking a crap ton of classes, which have been lovely and great. And mm-hmm. I've met a lot of wonderful actors. Some are local, some are, you know, abroad. And, oh, I wrote a short film. That's what I did. I did that. So that's really
I saw you did. Okay. Okay.
And I'm super thrilled. I'm super thrilled to share that with the world. And, you know, and it's mine and it's ours and it's great. But yeah, it's a weird time. Like whatever we can do right now to stay sane and to stay happy and to feel like we're actually doing something meaningful is important. Like how, for you, how have you been, you know, like how are you doing? What's new? How are you coping with this bizarre period of time?
Oh my
Other
God.
than TikTok, what's good?
It's so interesting for me. I realized, so I love learning in general, but I love learning so much about our industry, from casting directors, directors, actors. Just there's been so much information that we've never had access to before, and people are so free with their time and hey Jen, and just willing to like tell, you know, when you always like, okay, so what's the secret behind the perfect self-tape, or what should I do in the room to get so, and I found just absorbing all that knowledge, I loved it so much. And then I realized like, okay, I want to reach out to other, I think that's why I started this whole like window chat thing, because I felt, I mean, I like started for so many reasons, but it's like, I just love talking to people and like hearing, my favorite part about listening to all those forums is those behind the scenes stories. And I'm like, I know some of these people, they have just like such fun behind the scenes stories that people should know about, because it's just like, it's nuts. You can't explain it. It's such a fun time to just be human and admit like, oh, remember that picture I posted where I was like, this is the best shoot ever? Well, it was actually the worst shoot of my life. And I wake up screaming because it was traumatic. But it was just, I don't know, it's just such an interesting way to kind of adapt and try to figure out how to like stay sane by connecting with people, because I live with my husband, but other than that, I'm like, I don't see anyone. So I don't know. This is what
I love that you're doing this. I think it's wonderful.
I love that people are willing to do this, because Instagram Live, I say this every time, like, will it work? What's the internet? What's the like, I don't even know. It's always a mystery, like what's going to happen, the lighting and the sound. And I had a fire alarm once. That was really funny. That was on Monday with Jen, actually.
Because it's all live. Yay, Jen!
It worked out. She was great too. But it was just, it's just like, I love learning that it's almost helped me grow as a person, like learning we're all human and what's working and what's not working, that I'm almost so grateful that I decided to go into acting full time, because all these things I've been putting off addressing in myself, it's like, no, you have to know this, because the camera won't let you lie. Like it picks up on things when you're not in it. So that's what I found the most interesting about this time. As I ramble, I like to ramble.
No, I love that you've done this. And like so much of what this industry is connections and making meaningful connections. And I mean, through conversations like this, not IG Live, but like in real life and just talking to people in passing, I've learned so much about this industry. I know one of the things you want to chat about, but I also learned it through a conversation with a good friend of mine. You know the monologue slam that happens every month. And there's multiple of them out there.
We have to do a shout out to them, because no one realizes they do not charge for this. And they've been keeping this up. Like, that is amazing. I've watched my monologues I sent in. I understand why I don't make it. It needs improvement. But they've been doing this from the beginning. They're not getting paid. And they are allowing access for so many actors to just put their stuff out there. And it really is amazing. It's such an amazing thing, because people will charge money. And it's annoying, because I'm like, I don't know, we're not really making much these days. So I'm so grateful to Andre and everyone at the Monologue Slam. Like, they're just such a great group of people.
I completely agree. Monologue slam is fantastic. I think the way that they did this before, like they've been doing this for a long time. Way
the
before,
in-person one was so
pre-pandemic.
Cool.
They've been doing it for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they consistently do it every single month, they give us, I mean, prior to Monologue Slam, I don't think they've really helped me approach auditions by, no, I should say auditions or self-tapes or in generally monologues, taking risks. The concept of just realizing that you're going out of your comfort zone. Maybe you look silly, maybe you look messy, maybe, you know, maybe the flow doesn't necessarily work the right way, but it's the constant approach of putting yourself out of your comfort zone and trying new things that try to push yourself a little bit further. That came from them. That was a gift that they gave me through this time. And I'll always be very, very grateful to them for that. I'd hugely recommend it to any actors. And about what you said about making it to the final rounds and all this, who knows? Honestly,
you're amazing. Like, you've been killing it. Like, I love it.
It is such an ambiguous thing about like this concept of making it to the final round and like, you know, the whatever it is, top 10, whatever. But I think the part of it is two things. Number one, the fact that you're putting yourself out there and you're consistently trying and you're consistently working your craft. That is so important. Because if you didn't, I mean, think of if we didn't have that, in theory, I mean, we'd be very rusty. Like if we didn't do this kind of stuff, I mean, it helps keep us, what's the opposite of rusty? It helps keep us, you know,
not
nimble. Rusty. I don't know what it is, but it keeps us like, it keeps us nimble. It keeps us ready. It keeps us trying. And what was I going to say? The other thing? Oh God. Yeah, I think that it's such a, who knows what makes things to the first or final or 10th round. I think that at the end of the day, the fact that you're also getting exposure and getting access to, because remember, it's judged by casting. Yeah. Any opportunity to get seen by these people is a positive opportunity to get seen by these people. Regardless of, and that's what I always tell myself. Every time I submit, you know what, whether I make it to any round whatsoever, doesn't really matter. As long as they see who I am, they see my face, and they see that I'm all the juice that I can offer, all that it is, whatever it is, then that's worth the time, I think.
It's right what you said, right? I'm like stuttering over my words, but it's like it is taking that risk, because every time I've already accepted, I'm like, okay, I'll try something new. Maybe I'll write something. I don't know. But it's just that, okay, every month I'm doing a monologue, no matter what. And I love and hate it, because I don't know about you with monologues, but half the time I think, okay, why is this character letting me go on a rant? Why aren't they interrupting me? And certain monologues are written that way, and I've watched it in film, and sometimes it's hard if you don't know the context, like maybe their mouth is tied up, I don't know. But it's just so interesting when I watch these monologues, and I like to watch other people too, and I think, okay, why are they going on that rant? Why aren't they being interrupted? I really like to overthink it. It's very healthy. But it's so interesting though, because I understand the point of a monologue. You have to justify why they're not cutting you off. But then I turn into like this fast talking, look at me go, you can't even interrupt me. And it's like, okay, that's just me talking in everyday life. That's not a monologue. That should be performed for film. But I love how emotionally available you are. When I watch you and I'm like, it's just, I feel it's so fascinating to watch, and I just feel you through the screen, and I'm so in awe of how you do that. I'm like, cool, I can't. It's too much today.
Thank you. One thing, a tip that a friend gave me, so I'll give it to you. And it's just like a tool that I use. Pardon me, because I've been watching. Much better. There we go. Okay. I've been watching a crap ton of TV, like just because I got the time and I can. I've been watching a lot of TV and a lot of film. And the tip that my friend gave me was just like open your notepad, and if you see a monologue that resonates with you, write it down, because you'll forget. Like if you don't write it down, it'll be gone in a day, because that's how we absorb content. We have like the memory of chipmunks. But if you see something that resonates with you, that's the monologue that you want to do. You know what I mean? And I find that sometimes by keeping an eye out for those things versus like kind of the approach I used to take before was that I would sort of, I'd know that something was coming up. I'd go to an online database. I'd look for a monologue that was within my range. And I'd kind of go, well, this is sort of like the best thing that I can find right now. And I'd do it. Versus the approach I've taken as of late, which has just been, I felt a little bit better with it, is that I've been looking for those as I'm actively watching content, just writing them down. Yeah. And there's monologues that often other people necessarily won't do because they're not sort of in like the top, call it 100 that people pull from offline. They're a little bit different, but they resonate with you. Whatever your story is, whatever your experience is, whatever, your background.
Yeah.
That's
I love that you do that too. I wonder, is anyone else doing what I'm doing right now? But then I find that it always ends up, I love certain scenes. And then when I end up doing a monologue, I'm like, oh crap, it was the scene slam this time. Well, I like this monologue. I'm posting it. I didn't listen to the rules. I just felt it. I'm sharing it. I don't care. And then I get it's very like, it's like an odd anger that I don't understand.
There's one other, have you heard of the, I think they're called the Actors to Actors Showcase. Have you heard of this? Stephanie Gorin did one.
I know, I did it. And this is an amazing story. I misunderstood how many scenes you could do. I think I did 4 scenes for one of them. And I'm like, I just want them. It was, wouldn't recommend doing that. Cause it was then 3 of them were judged by the same people and they kind of liked me, but didn't fully like me. So I
value added.
I made it to whatever top, like I was trying to find an agent at the time. So I made it to whatever top, but it was just, I'm like, okay, so Robyn, maybe just choose one scene and take a step back and like, don't do 4 again. That was a lot.
It's a lot. You know what?
I loved so many of them. Like, I don't know. Do I want comedy? What do I do? Like, the whole thing.
You should choose like, you should do like 1 month you should do comedy. 1 month you should do drama. 1 month. What's other than comedy and drama?
But you know what's very interesting? And this is why I think everyone should do the monologue slam, because they only have comedy or drama. So I kind of did an in-between one because I don't think some are super dramatic and super comedic, but I think that's what makes a good monologue is it has to be go there. It has to be that extreme. Otherwise you're just talking. And I mean, other than this forum, no one really wants to listen to someone talk. So.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I think I was taking in class, I think I heard the other day that so much of comedy roots itself in real life and drama anyway. So like, even if you pick comedy, there still usually is a root of like pain somewhere in there. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I know.
Oh, now I gotta choose one.
Remember the pal?
Thank you, by the way, for steering this conversation. I'm like, she's doing great. Yes, I do remember the pal. I have a prop.
You have a prop?
Yes, I have to share this, but I have to like block all my numbers. This is the best government ID I've ever gotten because I used my headshot for my gun license. Is that your
Denise Grant headshot?
This is my Denise Grant headshot on my gun license.
You look like a Renaissance lady.
It is the coolest. I use it all the time for my government ID. And then they look at me because I don't look like that always. I don't have makeup on when I leave the house or like have my hair done. It's in whatever. And also with the mask on, they're like, I'm sorry, is this you? I don't, what? I'm like, that's fair. But this is a government ID. So
I love that you use that. That's so good. That's so good.
It's
so unexpected.
That's what I do. So I got to justify that course. That was terrifying. I've never held a gun before. Oh no, I did. Like, I don't know if you've ever gone to those shooting ranges and they set it up for you and you shoot whatever. I think I did it in Israel once, but to hold the gun, to load the gun, oh God, this is serious.
I mean, it's a lot more to people who do not handle firearms regularly, to people who watch it on television. It's actually a lot more, as you say, it's more complicated than a lot of people know. It is there's a reason you take a course. It's because you don't just buy it from a Walmart and walk away. There's a whole thing. But just to clarify, so I was going to say, I don't really, I wouldn't necessarily advocate for firearms, but I would say that as actors, I think it's a really helpful course to take. Sure.
Well, even just, it helped me. Well, now when I watch shows with guns, I'm like, is this real? I don't buy it. You would have shot yourself by now. But it's just so good to know what you can ask for on set too, right? If you're not comfortable with a firearm, it's safety, right? You have to know how to use it. I don't know. I just thought that was a very empowering course personally, because it's just good to know what you need to have as an actor to feel safe. It's okay to ask for that.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. I was shooting a series, I want to say in between when I did the PAL. I enrolled in the PAL course because right. I was in between shooting two different units of the show. And the show involved firearms. And so I was going to say, it was just really lovely to have this under my belt, because when I went to the set, some people had that knowledge. Some people didn't have that knowledge. And it was just nice to be able to go in informed, as you say, and to also see certain things, like how certain actors would point a gun at people, for example, because they just don't think, they just don't know. Mm-hmm. And once you've been through a course like that, you know certain safety rules, certain safety rules to follow and comply with. But yeah, it's really nice, especially if you want to go into action films and action movies. Hugely recommend the course. Go Daniel. Go Daniel. Go Rapier Wit.
Yeah, Rapier Wit? I never pronounced it correctly. Rapier.
What did you pronounce it? What did you call it?
I said rapier. Is that right? Rapier?
What did you say?
This is not sounding correct. Let's just say Daniel Levinson at his company.
R-A-P-I-E-R Wit.
But he's such a lovely guy. And I was very impressed. And even things that I don't realize, all the safety they had there, it was really, really interesting. And honestly, the biggest thing I took away, wow, guns are loud. I don't know why everyone is not wearing protective, and even it could shoot back in your face. These are not realistic. Everyone should have these headphones on. I'm just scared for people that shoot guns on a regular basis. So
I mean, I know 100%. That's so true, actually, because how many times do you see in a film where they're just blasting off, what is it? I guess blanks or whatever, but they're so loud.
Yeah.
I know. That's so true, actually. Yeah.
It's loud, and then the smoke in your face at the end, you're like, whoa. Well, some of them, not all of them, but some I'm just like, whoa. It was like you feel that heat after you shot that. I'm like, whoa.
Would you ever consider doing like a stunt fighting video? Would you ever do that?
I remember you told me there was another course you did. I mean, I gotta say yes to everything. I have a problem, but I just honestly think it will be hilarious because it depends on who my scene partner is. But I think it's worth having. I don't know how good I'd be at it. I think I would be that person that tries really hard, but I don't know how cool I would look, because some people look really cool, right? So I don't see myself doing like a somersault.
You look really cool. I could totally see you doing this. 100%. You said you did yoga, right? You do yoga?
Namaste. Yeah.
Okay, girl, if you can do yoga, you can probably, I mean, the way I'd liken my experience with fight choreography, the experience I had. So I booked a workshop day with Tyler Williams, who works on, he's worked on a lot of sort of bigger shows. I believe he was on, what is it called? I think he's been on The Expanse, and he's been on, what's that other one? The Boys. I think he's done that. So he has a background, does a lot of film sort of stunt choreography work. But when he worked with me, we trained for a solid, I want to say about 3 hours. And it felt like dance, sort of, but a little bit more, I mean, obviously a little bit more aggressive, but I know but the choreography aspect was a lot like a dance class, in the sense that, you put your arm here when this person puts their arm here. It was a bit like doing, I want to say it's like a bizarre salsa dance with somebody else, because you move when they move. And if you don't, then you get hit in the face. So it's best to, know the steps. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I miss choreography. I genuinely miss putting together a dance routine. I haven't done that since whenever they closed, but it's just.
Talk to me about that. Do you dance? What do you do?
Oh God. Well,
what do you do?
As a child, I think that's why I resonated with you when you're like, yeah, I'm on point now. I said, okay, I did ballet. I did ballet for a number of years. I did not want to go on point, but that's also because, again, I'm this person that's like, I enjoy my feet. And I got really scared that my toes would turn into something, because you see the pictures.
Sorry to sidetrack. Did you go on point? Did you do it?
I was terrified. No, 100% not.
You didn't do point. Okay, yeah. No way. Yeah. No, your concerns about the feet were valid. I want to say that I've lost probably about 3 toenails, I'd say.
I mean, that's
and they grow back. let's clarify. They grow back, but
yeah.
it does take a hit on your toes. That's for sure.
But I've worked with people when I back in my physio days, even though I'm still kind of going back and forth. But when I would work with people in the National Ballet or whatnot, yeah. Their flexibility is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so interesting how the rest of their body kind of compensated for the requirements in their flexibility. So I found that, so even a gymnast I would work with, so it's just that I wanted to be the extreme of anything. I mean, that being said, I didn't do competitive dance either, but I love like jazz and tap. And then I got into modern in university because you get a credit for it. And I thought, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do this. Learn this.
That's amazing. So you got a credit for dance in university. I love that. That's
I did.
So cool.
Thank you. And then I became a Zumba instructor. So that was
That's fantastic.
Pretty
Zumba
cool.
rocks. I love Zumba. They got merchandise.
They do. They do. Okay. They got better now. Back when I was instructing, you had to buy it online without seeing it. So I have no idea I'm the worst at online shopping. It's such a joke where you buy the wrong sizes. It's too big, it's too small. So I'm, what do I do with this shirt? I can't rock my class with this. So I have it, but I just don't wear it because I don't want to get rid of it. It's expensive. I'm like, I just kind of
that's like the challenge right now in general because all the stores are closed. It's like all online shopping, which is horrendous and very difficult. But wait, so how long did you do Zumba for? You were Zumba instructor.
Like 10 years. Thank you. It was, that's the thing. Like, that's why when you said the fight choreography, putting together a routine, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to dance it up. It'll be like a salsa.
Kill that. Why are you,
like
you should do that. You should do that. I don't even know why you haven't done that. That's really cool. Okay. All right. Very cool. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's what I love though. Like everyone that's why I love when people have a dancing background that do a fight scene because I can see there's that musicality. And do you have a fight reel that I can creep after this? Because I would love to watch that.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that. No, because there's that musicality. It's like in my head, I would be like, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, and punch.
And honestly, a lot of it is like I worked with Tyler. I worked with a lovely guy called Simon, and. It's having the trust. Honestly, it's working with people that know what they're doing. Like these guys are professionally trained. They take care of you. You know what I mean? Especially when you're in a position like us where you are training and you are learning and you are very much, the trainee versus the expert. It's working with people who you can trust, who, because you're doing such fast choreography, you need to know that like, if your arm goes in a certain direction or if your body pivots in a certain way, that you can rely on them to do a certain thing that's not going to end up with a punch in your face. And it's honestly, it's one of the funnest things I've done in a while. But it's one of those things that you do it and at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Like every part of you is exhausted. Your body hurts because you're tired. But at the end of the day, you look at your reel and you're like, damn, I did that, like I sense that you're like me. You like doing new things and surprising yourself with stuff that you're like, oh my God, like, yeah, I learned that and I did that. And that's, I did that. That's cool. But yeah, I just think anything that you can bring to this industry, I mean, who knows, like, I think you mentioned before, like, who knows what determines when you go into the room, what the final choice is. I think that is so out of our hands in every way. But all we can do is enrich ourselves, enrich the abilities or the tools or like if we take acting classes, bring in the best version of ourselves that we can into a space. And then from there, we got to let it go. But I guess enjoy the journey along the way. All of these like experiences and learning new tools and learning new activities and all of that. I recommend horse riding though. It's lovely. It's really fun.
Oh God. Okay. Me and animals, they see me and they just want to get mad.
Really?
But
it's
but I'm also just, when people sense when you're scared. So I think I kind of go up to it and I'm very like, hello, Mr. Horse, like very respectful, versus
hello, Mr. Horse.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What are we doing today? Like very weird. I wouldn't know how to, versus confidently going up like, yes, I am going to ride you. Be like, if it pleases you, might I mount you today? Like very old British, whatever.
I would say what what surprised me most when I started was how big they are. Like, they're so big. They're so very large, and as big as you think they are. I was saying this to a good friend of mine who's going to start horse riding in March. She's super excited and she's going to be amazing at it. But I think the most startling thing is when you go in, you have a sense of sort of how big they are when you see them from a distance or when you see other people riding them. But when you yourself have been, you know, assigned a horse that you're going to get to know and you're going to bond with them and all that, it's amazing. It's magical. But they're also huge. Like, they're so big. Their head is the size of, like, I think, you know, like, I have a 6-pound Maltese dog, and like a horse's head is like 3 times the size of my dog. They're really, really, really big, you know? And when you get on them, you're like towering over, you know, I think you're about 8 feet high up. So but they're gentle giants too. So there's that.
I went on a horse once, and my family, I love them. We get ideas. Like, we went on this, we were very fortunate. We went on this trip to Hawaii ages ago. And so this is when we tried surfing, and I learned that's terrible. But also we went horseback riding. Surfing is, I don't even understand that, because you have to paddle out for 2 seconds of hopefully balancing on the board. That was before I realized I should work on my core. So that was
that's amazing that you did that. I'm so jealous. I have huge respect for people that do it. I don't know how they do it.
It's exhausting. It's just like, I'm paddling. Okay. All right. I thought someone.
And then you wait for a wave, right?
This is legitimately,
which are terrifying in themselves.
Terrifying.
They look really big and tall.
When you watch it on TV, did you realize you have to paddle yourself out? Because I legitimately did not factor. I thought, okay, the boat brings me out. I get on the surfboard and I look really cool riding the wave. That is what I thought surfing. In my head, that is surfing. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot to it. Now I understand why they're ripped. Cool. Okay. And I think there was a news article where people were losing limbs with surfing. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to train for this. I'm going to keep my body parts. But that was probably one of those cases where they were just surfing in the wrong area.
Shark.
Yeah,
I feel like that might be a
that
shark.
makes.
That
could have been a dolphin. Scenario. I don't know. Might have been a dolphin. Most likely not a dolphin.
I was going to say, I don't know. I love dolphins. I adore them. I like dolphins too. I like animals. I love animals.
You seem like an animal lover. I love it.
I am. Wait, what were you saying before though? So you tried surfing?
Yeah,
and you did go horseback riding.
I did. So I went on, but the problem is, I think, you know, when you're on vacation and like, here's horses, we have them. They're like, okay, they're like the tourist horses that aren't trained. And so I had the horse, but I don't know how people, okay, I'm going to say this. I hope it's not inappropriate. I don't understand how men go on horses, because it is very uncomfortable in the lower region. I felt my inner thighs were so sore after that. And I thought, I don't get it. I don't understand this.
I don't know. And no one really talks about it.
This is an open discussion.
Google it. If you Google it, there is like whole forums of conversations about this topic. 100%. I mean, imagine, I mean, I was complaining to my riding coach sort of at the beginning when I started, and what she just shut me down right off, because she said, like, number one, it'll go away, which it does, just FYI. Like, that's how people handle it. It goes away because you basically, like any part of your body, you get used to certain activities and your body adjusts. But imagine, you remember like back in the 1700s when people would have to ride a horse for like 6 hours or 8 hours, you know? Like, can you imagine how sore they must have been? Like, next level.
They just go numb in there. I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. They must be like leather, you know?
Massive nerve damage. Oh, gross. Yeah. That's
like leather, baby. You know, it would have been like that. But what appeals to me most is, I mean, similar to the fight choreography video in some ways, you start with a soul, with an animal, with the horse that you get, and you may or may not know them really well. But like any living creature, they have their struggles and they have their strengths, and you work with that animal over a prolonged period of time. In my case, I worked with James, and I knew James for about a year. And during that time, we learned together and we trained together and we grew together, which is just so cool to have that experience to, you know, grow together. It's really, really, really special. It's nice. So that's why I love it.
Yeah. You can sell me on anything right now. I have like a lot of I always get homework from these chats because people are so I'm okay. I gotta get a horse. Got to do a fight video.
You guys, I feel like if you're, I would say with horses, it's tricky. I think you really got to want it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily say horses. I would say look into the fight video though, for sure. Because if you did Zumba, you would make a kick-ass fight video.
Hey, watch out for my salsa.
I could totally see you doing that. I'm not even kidding. I could see you doing that 110%. Like, yes.
I would finally, I was joking. I'll make use of the leather jacket I bought just for headshots. No.
What, for your fight video?
I feel like leather jackets are bad though. I think you need to be mobile. I think, yeah. You need to have that like tight black.
I'd recommend like Lulu pants to allow for flexibility. I would recommend like a white, a white tank to ensure mobility of arms. But who knows though? Maybe your leather jacket's mobile. I haven't seen it. So
no, it is not. It is the cheap kind that looks good in photos.
Makes sense.
What can I do that looks good on camera that isn't expensive?
I think all of us need like the token leather jacket for for the tough look.
It's just
for the headshots.
I used it for a couple self-tapes. I don't think I've ever used it out. I tried to justify buying it by wearing it outside once. It is a piece of crap. It is like, I don't even think it's a jacket. I'm like, I'm cold and I can't move my arms. What is this? It was very upsetting. I feel
like leather jackets, you have to wear something underneath the leather jacket. That seems to be the trend right now.
I mean, I did, but it seems, I don't know. Anyways, I also don't know how to shop, so it's just, yeah.
One does not just wear one's leather jacket. One must layer a leather jacket with a hoodie of some kind. See, and then it gets it warm. I'm telling you, this is gold advice right here. Get yourself a hoodie, put it under your jacket, and it'll be warmer.
Yeah, this is like leather jacket winter weather, right? This is.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. It's wretched. I miss travel. I can't wait to like go places.
That's interesting though, because I don't know the next time I'm going to be comfortable traveling. I feel like I have to wait a period till everyone's done it and no one's really sick. And then, or maybe I'll just drive in my car somewhere. I don't know if the car still works. We'll see. It's touch and go these days. It's hanging in there.
Well, it's I know that they're starting to talk about the vaccine rolling out.
Where would you travel? Where was the first place you would travel?
For travel, I don't know. Where would I travel if I could travel anywhere?
Yeah, first place.
Well, I think first off, realistically, my husband hasn't been home to Vancouver in almost 2 years now. Yeah. So I think the first trip would be to go visit his family and see them because he misses them. And then, Scotland. Oh, girl, Scotland! I'd go back to Scotland, of course. Yeah. Oh, my happy place. That's like that's my soul country. Oh, it's so lovely. Yeah. It's a magical spot.
I've never been. I've heard great things. I heard it's also cold. I think any place that's cold, I want to shy away from. And then I think of all the places I travel where I end up going in the off season to save money and it's cold. So I'm just, yeah, maybe I'll go to Scotland. Like it's cold all the time.
I mean, I would say Scotland is like sort of like London in the sense that it's, what is the term? Is it maritime climate? I'm not sure. Where it's rainy, it rains a little bit. Okay. So they have kind of like it's not super cold, but it's not super warm. It's that kind of temperature. We usually target going in like June, July, or August, which is the warmest period in Scotland. So it's not so cold. But if you go up north in Scotland, where all those mountains are, think of like Lord of the Rings, sort of. That's kind of what it looks like. That's a little chillier, but it's more just layer weather. You wear layers. So like you wear your wet layer and your hoodie layer, you know. But yeah. Oh, and I got to visit my family's in the Cayman Islands. So I have to visit them too. Because I miss them so dreadfully. Which is warm. You should go to the Cayman Islands. That's where you should go. It's a marvelous destination. I highly recommend it.
Cool. It's cool.
Oh, they're the best. Hey, so where will you go when you can travel? Where will you go?
Oh,
when and if you can.
I throw out the questions and I never have an answer. I feel like I want to do this fancy. Oh, do you see this like light happening right now? I feel like I want to do. Oh
yeah, it's like right there.
It's like hey, I want to do some kind of European. Like let's do Paris and like Italy, and I don't know, throw in Spain. Okay, I have a serious problem when I travel because I always feel like it's the last time we're ever going to travel. It doesn't make any sense. Last time it did. That was the last time we traveled. But
last time that would have been a very valid concern.
I try and throw in as many trips as possible. It's a very, okay, so, and my husband knows, it's like, okay, so we're going to do this, but we're actually only spending a couple days, not even maybe one day here. And it's just this whole mess of a trip. So I think I've decided to let him plan it so we can relax a bit and take it in versus we have to see everything in a day. Because that's just where my mind's at. Like, okay, we're paying for these flights. We're getting our money's worth. We're going everywhere.
Though, because I mean, I did that with Scotland too. It's like you don't travel very often. So when you do, you want to make the most of your time when you're there. And there's so much to see.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the UK and Europe too. Like, they never knock anything down. So there's so much history and there's so many museums and so much food. Oh my gosh, the food. Oh,
we joke. We went to Switzerland a while ago, and yeah. We just kind of had chocolate all the way through. It was great. No regrets.
I was going to say Swedish chocolate. Swiss chocolate would be delicious too.
But it's so fascinating. We didn't go to all the mountains. I'm like, there's so many mountains. I want to see all of them, but you don't have enough time. And I'm like, and then
wait, is Switzerland where they filmed Sound of Music? Or is that Austria? I get confused.
I feel as though it's Austria.
Okay. I feel like it's similar though. Like, I feel like it's beautiful mountain ranges. Oh, on the bucket list.
It's also some of the places that we didn't go to, they don't have any cars. They don't allow any cars in. So you'd have to stay in that place for the day, then go up the mountain the next day. And like, oh, that's just really going to backtrack. Like, our trip is going to, I don't know.
I'd have to like hike or something.
That being, I did do a hike. This is my athletic adventure moment when my husband loves hiking. He loves nature and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just going to, okay. We decided to hike. We thought it was a trail. There was no trail. I don't know how we got to the top. I don't want to think about it, but it was, we made a trail. And then we finally got back onto the path that was supposed, but in between, I have no idea where we were. We just kind of just kept trying to find up, and it was terrifying.
That is, I mean, to also hike a mountain without a distinct trail, that is ballsy.
He was so confident. I'm like, okay, all right.
I mean, that's like some classic, like, I want to say like Everest level stuff, you know, like to actually like break your own trail. That's pretty tough. Good for you guys.
But you know what? I need to get the sticks to look legit. You need the walking sticks. And I'm really into the barefoot shoes. So those were not the best shoes to walk in when you're walking in the mud.
So this one with like your feet are like.
Yeah, they felt everything. Every single rock, they felt everything. It was.
Oh, that would have been rough.
It was a bad choice of foot.
I recommend check out the company Forsake. Check out that company and their hiking shoes. They're the best. I swear to God, they're the best because they look. I mean, no insult to the standard hiking shoe at all, but Forsake's look cool. Like they look great. Like they're aesthetically a pleasing shoe, but they are so comfortable and they are they're waterproof. So like if you walk through a stream, I mean, maybe that's excessive, but like say you're walking through like a rain, say it's just a rain.
Yeah, even if it rained the day before, right? Then you're not
your feet don't get wet.
Yeah, a little trench foot.
Which is really, really nice. Look it up. Forsakes. They're lovely. If you need something other than the bear shoe. Okay. It's very good. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I also just switched to a different barefoot shoe. I've been on a journey. I like to just kind of challenge myself with I'm really into learning about how to strengthen your feet right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, for me, my physio practice is all over the place, but I think my husband's telling me it's been an hour. I really appreciate that. Thanks, hub. There's no clock on this, so I don't know how long we're talking for. So he's coming in with a little, and it's like 5 minutes left. So he's holding up little signs for me. I appreciate that. I don't think I was meant to share that. But that's what he does, and that's why I love him. But I backtrack with the feet. But it's so interesting because there are certain components where like your feet, there's genetics and your feet will form a certain way. And then when you can't walk, it's so debilitating. So knowing my genetics, I tried to figure out how can I strengthen my feet? How can I change them in terms of like the walking pattern. I'm just like really looking up anything online nowadays, but there's so much information. Yeah. So that's
Google is okay. So one last thing. Have you heard of talking about online, have you heard of the show Halt and Catch Fire? Have you heard of this thing? Have you heard of it?
I think I saw a preview. What is it?
Oh my God. So I'm obsessed, just a little. My husband will tell you that. I am obsessed with this show. But basically what it is, it's on Netflix right now. It features Lee Pace, Mackenzie Davis, who went to McGill, yay, and a bunch of other really talented folks. But it's about the start of the internet. And it's just so well written. It's funny, it's dramatic. But it talks about, like, as you say, it talks about like the dawn of the internet and how the world was sort of in the early 80s when, you know, the internet didn't exist. And so people couldn't like look things up, you know, and then this like creative group of people came up with the idea that like, oh, hey, you know, how cool would it be if we could like categorize information? But it's so cool. It's so good. If you ever really looking for something to watch, I'm
going to watch that. I am really, so really fascinated by going, like, if we were in school now versus when I was in school. I mean, it wasn't even that long ago, but it's changed. So they're doing online school. I know when I was doing an online course, now. Yeah, like that, the online course, okay, that's fine. You just read all the pages, whatever, and you type in the discussion to contribute and get your credit. But this is, you have to be there, your face, and I
think it's changing how people interact too, right? Because back in the day, we would have gone to our classes with our books and our notepads, and maybe a laptop, maybe if you were like really fancy, if you were that fancy student with a Mac or whatever.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I think they have to find the social interaction some other way. Because
it's hard to, like, I don't know how you met your husband, but I met mine at university. So do you like meet someone, you see them in the square and they appeal to you?
Yeah, that's interesting. What university did you guys go to?
We went to Western initially, and then I went to McMaster, and then he went to U of T, and then back at Western. We've done a lot of school. So it's, cool. I don't know, Western, London, Ontario, special place in my heart.
London, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really fun when you say you studied in London and you don't elaborate. Oh, is she British? Well, if my accent is good. That's how I know. And then I do my accent. I do my accent, and then they go, oh no, she's not British, because it's very weird.
It's funny how where we studied, every university, every campus has its own like unique flavor, has its own unique experience of it. I went to McGill, which was very like, I want to say it was lovely as well. It was very French. It was very, a bit like U of T in the sense that it was in the downtown core, so it was very busy. Campus was very spread out.
Do you speak French?
I did. I did. Not fluently now. Like, it's pretty rough. It's pretty...
Not resume worthy? I would put that on my resume.
Oh, it's rough. It's pretty freaking rough. I met my husband. We were doing an opera together, of all things, which is kind of fun. He's an opera singer.
I love that. I saw that on your talk, which I thought that... I'm like, and now she's cooler. She just got cooler.
He's cooler than me. He has a lovely voice. I'm in awe of how he can sing. But we met. I was playing a courtesan in the show Tales of Hoffman, and we got assigned together. And then he asked me for sushi, and I said yes. That was a good choice. So that's how that happened. Yeah, that was crazy though.
I love sushi dates. They were my favorite way to kind of have small talk when I would just talk about how to hold chopsticks. That would be my go-to small talk, no matter what. I know I could just talk about chopsticks for half an hour. So that was, in my head, I thought, if this date doesn't go well, I will just rant about chopsticks.
Are you good at with chopsticks? Are you not good with chopsticks? Are you good with chopsticks?
I think I was better at one point, and now since no one's around when we get sushi, I'm just like, hands.
It's like, I was going to say, with me, it's like a massacre when I use chopsticks. Like, food's flying in every direction. It's
the problem, like, I don't want to shove a whole roll in my mouth. That's just a lot. And then I try, but then when you try and separate it, then it gets messy. So there's no winning. So
that's why I gotta get a sushi burrito. Sushi burrito, girl. Because then it's all...
How do you put it on your mouth? It's huge.
What, a sushi burrito? You like bite into it like a burrito? Thing.
Oh, I don't really eat burritos. That's okay. Well, now you know Robyn doesn't know how to be human, but it's... I was joking with someone because I legitimately don't know how to eat food for commercials. It's a joke. It's really, I'm like, I don't know. Do you like take it out? No.
I remember I got called in to do an audition for a company that they're a leading a hamburger company, and they make wonderful hamburgers. Anyway, I got called in. Maybe you did too. I don't know if you were at me with that one. Were you there? And you had to eat
I usually get the meat commercials, and I don't eat meat, so I think I may have said finally, like, hey, I don't eat meat.
Okay, but this was for a veggie burger for this company for the first time ever. This was like a big deal.
I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I think I might have done that one. Yeah, okay.
It was the most awkward commercial because you had to sit down, and they were very lovely, and they had like a bag, like the brown bag beside, and these 2 hamburger buns, and they said, just eat it, and you had to like just eat those 2 hamburger buns with like nothing in the middle, just 2 hamburger buns. Yeah,
I love when the food, like in the room, if you would come later in the day, it would just be out the whole day, and then, okay, so eat the food. I'm eating it, and then I'm sick the next day.
This is really real acting. This is why they pay us the big bucks.
This is why. So I can eat sometimes people are very smart about it. If it's a perishable product, they'll just put out a cracker and pretend. Thank you. Yeah. But other times, you're like, okay, get some.
Like, this is what's happening. I mean, I miss these moments. I was
thinking the last time, because we did the gun course, and then I saw you in an audition where we had to be runners. And that was such an awkward audition because we had to run on the spot. And for me, all I could think about during that audition was, this is weird. I must look really stupid. I'm like, running on the spot. This isn't what it like. And then I'm like, do I smile? Am I happy when I run? I don't know. I think I'm just very serious. Do they want serious? So I would love to see that tape, but it was not a successful audition.
These strange moments where you go in and they say, okay, as you say, like, run on the spot, and they give you like a reader, or they don't, or they just ask you to run on the spot. And
and then like run sideways.
Yeah. And there's like a panel of like 5 people watching you run sideways and taking notes about watching you run sideways. These are the bizarre moments that, like, I do kind of miss it though. I really do, which is odd. I don't know why. I know, but it's so lovely having an audition buddy like you, though. I will say, like, I can always rely on you to give me a smile, like, because it's stressful waiting in that space before you go in. And I know
it's also like, I love when I watch, I'm like, oh crap, that's a nicer color. You got it. I don't have it. I wore.
Do you really, you know what though? I feel like,
but that's when I was like back in the day, and I'm like, you know what? That's when I was I've grown up so competitive. And I think being in this industry has made me realize you're only competing with yourself. So to have that mindset when I go into a room and just kind of chill and joke with people is so much easier for me, because I'm like, this is me. This is how I walk. This is how I run. This is how I would eat this food. I understand why you didn't choose me.
Well, it's also, you don't know. I mean, there's so many elements of stuff that isn't in your control whatsoever. Yeah. Like, for example, if they're casting a family, for all you know, maybe they want a certain look. So it's not about talent at all. You know what I mean? In some degrees, we can't change our face. There's nothing we can do. And we wouldn't want to. Like, why would we want to do that? But like, to some degree, when you go in, maybe they need somebody who complements an actor that they've already cast, that is a certain height and has a certain look that they want you to emulate with that look. And there's nothing we can do. So all we can do is go in there and show them that we're awesome, so that when a role comes up that would fit us, they'll think of us. But you're so right. All you're competing with is yourself.
I miss getting paired with a family. I miss seeing what casting thinks should be my family. That was the highlight for me. I'm like, and then sometimes I would get cast or even paired up for auditioning with the same people. I'm like, oh, well, someone thinks we should be a couple, but I'm married. I apologize.
Did you ever get the Christmas sweater ones? Where you had to go in with a Christmas sweater and do all
No, I haven't. I'm grateful I haven't. I have one ugly Christmas sweater as a joke.
It's funny. We've been so, these past 11 months, everything's been a self-tape for me anyway. I think I've had one in-person audition in the entire time.
I was terrified for the one in-person I had. I don't know how you felt. I was like, I don't know. Can I be here? That was a very bad audition.
It was bizarre.
My headspace was not healthy.
It was really bizarre. There was all these time windows. And I should say, bizarre in a way that it had to be, because for safety reasons and all that. But when I went in, there was nobody in the waiting room. We had certain time slots. We were told that, probably same thing with you, right? Like, you couldn't go up early because they didn't want people overlapping during the time that they were there.
Yours may have been better run than mine.
Oh, really? What was your experience?
There were people, but again, they were distanced, but still, I'm like this hypochondriac paranoid sometimes, just, people are getting sick. So I, didn't do so well.
These are strange times. I mean, in general, for the industry, to take any job, there's an element of risk, right? Have you had a COVID test yet? Have you done that?
I'm terrified to.
You done it?
I haven't.
Okay.
When I did though, I did film a commercial, but we had distance, and I think that was before COVID tests were the norms.
Okay.
And everyone, like the crew, and it was only 2 people in the crew, and the rest of the people were on Zoom, which was also really fascinating because I'm looking this way to see the director's face, but she sees my face this way, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I want to see you, but I want you to see me. It was very weird. But yeah, I mean, they did a great job, but it was just such a weird delay. And then we had to like time hitting buttons, and their timing was off. I'm like, is this the way of the future? I don't know.
I know it's weird.
Did you get your COVID test? Did you have to do that?
So I did get a COVID test. I came down with like I want to say a bug about 3 weeks ago now. Wow, time flies. I want to say it was like 3 weeks ago. And I had sniffles. I felt really tired.
Yeah.
I just felt like crap. And so I waited a bit, and then I finally thought, screw it, and go get the test just to make sure and to be safe. And so I did. And what surprised me was just how high they go with their little like probe. Like no one talks about it. Everyone's super chill. Like, am I a massive dork? Like, this probe is really, really high.
I heard it's similar to a feeling of getting water up your nose.
I've been told that too.
Would you say that's the same, or is it worse? I'm scared. Oh God.
So I don't want to be like a jerkhole, but like my personal experience, and like I have such huge respect for actors that go in, like people that are actively working on bigger sets that get COVID tests, one in each nostril, and like every single day, their nose must be some kind of raw, because it feels like imagine what is it, like a Q-tip,
yeah.
But like a Q-tip, like I want to say like from here to like
I feel like we're gonna end this chat right now.
Like, girl, it was like I felt like it was in my it felt like someone touching my brain. Like, it was just so we're living in weird times is all I'm saying. Like, they gotta figure out that test. I swear to God.
You know what's really odd though? It seems as though the safest place to be is on a set, because there is so many protocols. And even when I get the audition, like an audition now, and it says this is our protocol, and I say, oh, okay, I feel good about that. Because otherwise it's just hard to know when people aren't on the same page or wearing a mask or whatever, or following. So, I mean, that being said, I'd still be scared, but at least they're trying, right? And they're still 100%. Putting out so many things. There's so much content. I can't.
I also as you say, they're putting out lots of content, but I also noticed Netflix is promoting a lot of foreign content too, because
I appreciate that. There's some good stuff.
I absolutely love it. I love it. There's so many good shows that we're seeing that, I mean, would we have necessarily been pushed those before in the world where, pre-COVID, where, all the sort of American-based shows or Canadian-based shows were shooting? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's some really good shows. So, yeah, maybe there's silver lining a little bit here and there.
I love your positive energy. It's great.
I love yours. It was good to talk to you.
I love chatting with you. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing your next monologue. And
yours too.
Oh God. And keep posting your writing stuff and your, I don't know, you're just cool. Okay.
And you keep posting your comedic stuff. You're funny. You're so funny. Keep believing in yourself and keep kicking ass, okay?
Oh God.
Because you're fantastic.
All right, I'll try.
Okay.
Okay, that's a perfect way to end it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, we just did that.
Oh my God. Okay, bye. That was great.
All right. Okay, bye. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Sounds good.